This is the Slots and Sockets Podcast, episode number 24. I am one of your hosts, IRD Moose, and my partner in crime,
Turbo Penguin.
The Turbo Penguin, indeed. Happy Monday to you, Turbo. And we got a couple of interesting stories that came across the wire in the last couple of days. What do we want to start with? We want to do Intel or Nvidia to kick it off?
Well, because Nvidia is going to try to screw us all, so let's go with Nvidia.
All right. So Nvidia had some pricing leaks on the 50 series, and you guys are going to want to win the lottery to get your next graphics card, because the 5090 is not going to be cheap. Now, we did expect it to be kind of expensive, which it usually is. I mean, the Titan class cards are, but up to $2,500.
Here's my problem with this: is that not only this, is that this is going to push the AIBs to be selling this for even more.
Yeah.
And that I am going to be really upset with, because, you know, at that much, like, it's too much.
Right. Well, and the leak actually is a $500 swing. So it starts at $1,999, $2,000, and goes up to $2,499. Just call it $2,500. And there is some dispute on this leak, but honestly, I mean, I think we as gamers need to push back, because it feels like, to be honest, Nvidia is punishing the ones that brought them to the dance. The whole reason they're in the AI market and the whole reason they were in the crypto market to begin with is because they were developing phenomenal cards for gamers that could also do other things. And, you know, I think it's just an anti-consumer move at this point.
I think so too. I think it's, you know, look, I really think two things. First and foremost, I hope that Radeon has a value market and that they do not push their pricing up. Yeah. I really hope that they don't follow suit. And two, look, gamers, this is your chance to basically tell Nvidia you don't care.
Yeah.
And to really kind of give them 2 cents and to just not buy it. The reason that we're here is because every other generation, people have gone out and bought these. Mm-hmm. You know, even with the 4090, it was $1,600, even with price gouging and everything else. I mean, if you look at Microsoft, it's $2,100 for a brand new 4090.
Yep.
And stop doing it. Stop doing dumb things. You know,
I mean, they stuck.
That's all I'd say is, like, you know, the gamers, we're all supporting this crap.
Yeah.
And the longer we continue to do this, the higher they're going to get pricing, and it's going to be until nobody could afford even, like, you know, the problem is in 5 or 6 years, Nvidia thinks that the 80 series cards going to be $3,000.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's not how this goes. And so I really hope that if those are correct pricing, I hope that gamers sit back and be like, no, I'm not doing it.
Yeah. And to be honest, the whole reason that Nvidia is potentially, again, this is a leak. We don't have confirmed pricing yet, but the whole reason it looks like it's going this way is because they got away with things like LHR on the 30 series. They got away with gimping half of your GPU's horsepower because they wanted to force you to buy a mining card. They got away with the 40 series jacking the price up. Like you said, the 4090 right now is $2,100. That's freaking insane. Now, granted, I paid $1,600 for my 6900 XT. Yeah, I got taken, but that was in the middle of right. Well, exactly, but
for
that was
$6,950.
Right, and that was in the middle of the price hikes from all the scalpers and scammers that were out there, and the parts shortages and all that. It was just, I made a bad call. And that part is on me. But the thing is AMD didn't keep doing that. Yeah, they're still a little higher than they probably should be, but the cards are reasonably priced now. And Nvidia is
I
just
would disagree with that.
continuing. Well,
No,
okay,
they're not,
that's fair.
because they're inflated above where they should be,
Yeah.
against all else. And I don't care. Gamers sit there and say Nvidia can do no wrong. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Do you not open up your eyes and realize that they're screwing you? They are
Yeah.
absolutely screwing you. And look at their value market.
Yep.
They are making a crap ton of money. They aren't doing you any favors. They just want you for your money. If you had no money, they would not be making these cards. I think that's the
Right.
honest truth people need to realize.
Does a $3 trillion company really need your $2,000? No.
The other
And
half
it's
I would say is, does
ridiculous.
it really cost that much to make? And I say no,
No.
it does
No,
not.
it doesn't.
Why do 40 series cards all have crap VRAM? It's not because VRAM was hard to find. It
Hmm.
wasn't that you couldn't buy it. Is that they're manipulating these graphics into specific pieces, and they don't want to make them too good. They don't want to make another 1080 Ti
Yep.
because they don't want
Yep.
to make a card that's too good. They just want it good enough for you to like it,
Yep.
because it takes them work if they make it too good.
And then only like it for a year because next year they're going to come out with the card that it should have been. Which, I mean, that's kind of the route Nvidia's been going, and that's why I have a 6900 XT in my system now. That's why I avoid buying Nvidia if I possibly can, because I don't want to support this light hash rate crap. I don't want to support the anti-consumer crap that they're pulling. And the only other option, the only other real option right now is AMD, and they're
Oh,
not
come
even
on.
going for the high
You're
end.
secretly hoping for Battlemage to come out this year so you can get a faster computer graphics card.
If Battlemage actually competed with my card or with, a current generation card, I would consider
It
it.
won't. Yeah, maybe a
I can hope.
2060,
I can hope.
a
I don't
2066 gig version.
I don't think it will, but I'm still going to
No,
hope that they actually get off their butts and do something good rather than
they
what
won't.
Intel has always done. And the news we've been getting from Intel isn't particularly stellar in that department, because it looks like they've potentially laid off a lot of the people who did the development on Battlemage and were potentially working on Celestial. Um, and on that note, it looks like we might have some leaks to the Intel side on not pricing. Wow, I just locked up on words. It We had some shipping manifests that came out, right? That were talking about some Battlemage parts that were potentially coming out.
Yeah, so look, we just know that they've been that there's a shipping manifest that has B8 850 there,
Mm-hmm.
and that is supposed to be the designation for Battlemage. So, there's two parts I would say to look at this and be cautious. First and foremost, yes, if you're going to sell something, it means you have to ship something. So obviously, a shipping manifest is confirmation that something is legit, unless you're just you know sending empty boxes, which is not what they're doing.
No.
But two, I think there probably needs to be some real, don't pre-order this.
Yes.
Um,
Rule
Wait
number
for
one.
reviews to kind of see what it is. And look, I think that Intel on the graphics side is in this rut of a day late, dollar short.
Yeah.
Okay. Their performance targets are not stellar, and then they're late. And the problem is that had they released Battlemage 4 or 5 months ago, and if the performance was average, they might be getting some good sales right about now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's not. And the fact that they're shipping it now makes us think that the earliest. I mean, how early? I mean, if you shipped it, even a week ago, which I don't think is correct, but let's just say you did. If on the chance you shipped it a week ago Monday, the earliest I think you could get that distributed and out to anyone who can actually sell it is going to have to be, with next week being Thanksgiving, at least here in the States. I mean, the earliest is the first week of December. I mean,
Right.
and this late, you're not going to, I mean, if you miss Black Friday and Cyber Monday, I mean, I keep on coming back that it's a day late and a dollar short. And I just kind of have the sinking suspicion that we're going to keep having the same old conversation about this with Intel, because they have got to stop being a half a step behind in performance and a step behind in timing.
Yeah.
If you were half a step bound from performance, you could maybe sell it at the price point you wanted it at, and it might make sense. But when you're both late and behind and slow,
Mm-hmm. You're
I
stuck.
don't know. I just
yeah. Well, and
you
that
don't
might
sell, and it looks bad, and it does look
Right.
bad because it is bad. I mean, that's the problem. Like, there had you released, any of these Intel GPUs a year and a half before they actually came out, they might actually be somewhat useful. I mean,
Yeah.
but they don't.
Right. Yeah, because the Alchemist line was really better geared toward competing with the 30 series, maybe the lower end of the 40 series, and they were late.
Too late.
They were
Too late.
way too late. And then, of course, you've got all the other issues that they're dealing with that we've covered extensively on this podcast that, have contributed to Intel just being in a really crap position. And, I would love to see Intel knock it out of the park, but I don't think they will. If
Not
I'm
with the
surprised, I will be
layoffs.
very happy. But yeah,
Not
exactly.
with the layoffs.
Exactly.
No, I mean, the problem is it needs to be the other way around. It needs to be that they need to be hiring left and right. And
Yeah.
the fact that they're not doing it tells us everything we didn't know.
I think it shows a lack of confidence.
I think it is a lack of confidence because no one has any confidence in them.
Yeah. Well, both internally and externally. Yeah. It's that nobody believes that Intel's actually going to do something useful, even though they had a great chance to do that. And they could have captured a decent share of the mid market, which is where Intel tends to go most of the time anyway. I mean, the 285K is kind of their flagship part, but performance wise, it's definitely mid market. It's getting beaten by CPUs that are a couple generations old from both Intel and AMD. So,
I mean, look, I mean, it's not going to be good news for a while for Intel.
Yeah.
I don't think any of the things that we're hearing out of Intel make us think that it's going to change. I don't think anyone is looking at it and saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to be better." It's not. It's not going to get better. And I wonder if we're going to, because the thing is from the rhetoric, and what's interesting is that a lot of this is coming out of the financial side of things.
Mm-hmm.
That you're hearing financial news people saying, "Hey, wonder if so and such could buy them."
Yeah.
That's not like, now tech people are picking up on it, okay, but it's not like these are coming out of tech tubers and it's going the other way. It's actually coming from the financial side.
Yeah.
Investors are not happy with this. Pat Gelsinger is not going to stick around all that long.
Nope.
I don't think it's going to be good. Now, I'm not necessarily thinking the problem is that you got to find somebody else to run it. And, that's, the board's job to figure out. But you're going to have somebody who can come in and sort all of the mess that this is. And the honest truth is the next person to come in after Pat might be the person to help split them up.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
I mean, if we
Qualcomm to buy the
see,
design and the that, and sell Samsung the manufacturing.
yep.
You know,
Who was that
it, it,
who was that CEO of HP forever ago that participated in splitting up things like EDS and a couple of their other business units? She ran for
not sure.
governor. I forget her name. She ran for governor of California a while back. But if somebody like that comes in where, they show up at a company as the CEO and then all of a sudden parts start getting spun off, I think that's going to be kind of the nail in the coffin for Intel as we know it. And we'll probably see Intel's fab operation spun off to somebody like a TSMC or potentially
Nope.
somebody like Nvidia buying the fab. Um,
I don't think Nvidia. Well, Nvidia has the money to put into it, but I
mhm,
mean, the thing is that there's benefits to having someone else own and do that, and
right.
paying TSMC a lot of money to do that and not have to worry about it. I think makes a lot of sense. Samsung makes sense for
Hmm.
them to buy because Samsung would have a mutually beneficial. They're going to get capacity and they get stuff in the United States, and they're South Korean, so the Americans kind of like them.
Yep.
Um, so there's a lot of positive things that go on there. Um, I don't know. We'll see. He made Pat made a big thing about they're not getting any money from chips. I'm like, well, maybe it's because they sort of think you're really running this Intel into the ground. It's not a money thing, dude. You screwed out the American public
Hmm.
knowingly, and now you want the federal government to bail you out and give you a bunch of money.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
I
No.
think that the government looks at this and says, this isn't a money problem. This is a leadership problem. And why are we going to give you
Hmm.
money just to piss away?
Hmm. Yeah. Exactly. And as much as I think it's important that we have a company with a large foundry position here in the United States, um, I don't think it's going to stay branded as Intel. It could be Samsung. It could even spin off into its own separate company where they just, do what Global Foundries did and, you know, just open up their fabs to everybody. I mean, Intel's already been doing that, even though their fabs seem to be somewhat behind on the technology aspect. So, we'll have to see what happens. I mean, hope for the best and kind of expect the worst. I think at this point is kind of the position I'm taking. Um, and I mean it's the position I've had pretty much since a lot of this news about the 14 series issues started coming out. Is like a healthy, good running company does not behave the way Intel behaved, and you know I mean, if I were in the market to buy stocks, I certainly wouldn't be looking at Intel because I'm pretty sure they got pulled off of the Dow Jones and replaced with a couple
No,
others.
they were pulled off Nasdaq. So
Nasdaq, that's what it
Nasdaq
was.
is
Yeah.
the Nasdaq is a group. They're not pulled off the New York Stock Exchange. So they were just pulled out of the Nasdaq, but surprisingly replaced with AMD. Um,
Right.
But yes, and the Nasdaq is just a group of individual stocks, and it's to show the tech side of the industry, and so it's a way for them to kind of see how, in general, like the Fortune 500 or the elite tech companies are performing.
Yeah.
So it has no financial impact. It's not like the FTC stopped trading them,
Right.
but it is a pull from, and it is.
It's a huge loss of reputation, which
Yes, from there. Well, I don't know. I don't think investors are necessarily going to forget, um, but it's something to keep an eye out because you sit there and say, "Wait a sec." I
yeah.
mean, so it makes people think twice before just randomly dumping a couple of $1 million into stock.
Right. Exactly.
Although, and I would say this, not necessarily saying this, and I don't give stock tips
Yep,
at all.
this is not financial advice.
Not financial advice. Buying Intel when they're down is not bad if you think they can turn it around.
Right.
Or if the person who buys them has really good stock options.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, depending on how that goes, owning stock in Intel may not be a bad thing. It depends on how it shakes out.
Yep.
Whether they can fix themselves to right the ship. Because if you bought them at $20, they can fix it and they go up to $40, you've made money.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, can they fix it?
And right now it's possible, but every bit of news I see about Intel, it looks less and less likely, especially after what I saw at the LAN party with, one of their boards just refusing to post with a particular stick of RAM. Like,
yeah,
come on. You guys have had this sorted out for how long? And we're now back at the Ryzen 1000 series days. Like, come on, guys. And I think what we saw there is a symptom of a lot of the layoffs, because a lot of the layoffs came from teams that do develop the BIOS and from teams that develop other crucial components of the system. And yeah, I mean, well, all I can say is this consumer's confidence in Intel is at an all-time low. I bought AMD because I wanted to support them, because I thought they had the best value for the money, and now they've taken over the top performance spot from Intel. Is it going to stay that way? We don't know. Stay tuned. So,
yep.
On that bombshell, thank you all for watching. I want to make sure you remember to like and subscribe and comment and do all the fun stuff down there in the doobly-doo below. And until next time, have fun.
Whoa, hold up. So next week is Thanksgiving.
That's right.
So we are going to have kind of two special episodes for all of you gamers out there going to different places and being stuck without your gaming things, or maybe playing on a Steam Deck. So we will have an episode. It's not going to be the normal Monday. Mm-hmm. We're going to have one that will be ready for probably Wednesday evening.
Yeah, we can shoot
Wednesday evening. And then we're going to have, I'm thinking we might have another one for Thanksgiving Day, a special turkey episode. And so I think turkey episode, we've talked about doing, looking at any good Black Friday deals.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the suspicion, and I'm just going to throw this out there as a guess, that our Black Friday deals this year are going to suck.
Well, I mean, they kind of have sucked for the last couple of years. I mean, I've seen some decent deals on TVs, but when it comes to computer hardware, it's been kind of slim pickings. I mean, you might see a good deal on a keyboard here and there, but nothing that would really constitute a performance upgrade. So
we'll be interesting. We've got new stuff that's really popular that I don't think we're going to sell. I think with anyways, we'll see. Yeah. Tariffs. If people they want to get as much money as they can before they lose money in tariffs, and that to raise prices. So we'll see how that goes.
Yep.
But until next time, Moose is going to go
have fun storming the castle.
Take care, guys.
Good night, everybody.